I'm here on Snaw-Naw-As territory. I'm actually at the gas station on Highway 19 in Nanu's Bay. And across the highway is the former ENN Railway, now the Island Railway. There was a Supreme Court decision that said that the portion of railway that was on Snaw-Naw-As First Nation, it was up to the nation to decide what to do with it. And today there are machines, I don't think you can see them in the background, but they're actually just behind the stoplights there. There are machines actively taking up the tracks. I've been campaigning for the Island Railway for almost 20 years, actually, maybe 20 years. 2004, I think I started. And I still believe that the Island Railway should continue and should be used as a railway in addition to being used as a trail. But I wanted to say really clearly today that I don't oppose this at all in terms of the First Nation taking control and having the say over what happens on the very tiny postage stamp of land that their reserve is compared to their traditional territories. It's the very least that they should have control over. They should have control over much more. That's another video. So as far as the Island Railway is concerned, you know, obviously this puts a literal hole between Nanaimo and Parksville, Port Alberni and Courtenay. In that aspect, it seems dire. And I think there needs to be one place where, because there should be blame assigned for this, there is blame, and that blame goes on the government of Canada and the government of British Columbia. Multiple governments, multiple parties, Liberal, Conservative, NDP, BC Liberal. We'll throw the BC Conservatives in there as well because they wouldn't have done anything about it either. All of them have failed completely to listen to the people of Vancouver Island, who have consistently over 20 years in petition after petition after petition after letter writing campaign, after all of it, with the support and the direction of the Island Corridor Board, which is both First Nation and directed by the regional districts, a shared governance board, something that was never seen before and was and is a model that should be used more often. And government has just ignored it. Actions speak louder than words. And today we have the result of those non-actions and what really is mostly non-words as well. Again, I don't think this should be a day that we should consider as a defeat. We knew that First Nations would eventually, if we live in a just society, reclaim control over the land that they have, and that's okay, that's good, that's reconciliation. But we still have the question of how do we move people from one end of the island to the other. Regardless of what people will continue to say, that the railway is too expensive to bring back online, which is a farce compared to the billions spent on highways every single year. Regardless of all that, the best way to move the most amount of people and goods remains a railway. With First Nations, including Snaw-Naw-As, we need to have a really long, thoughtful conversation about how we expect there to be growth on Vancouver Island which implies growth of traffic, which I have seen personally over the past 20 years. There is no way around here. It's much like the Malahat in that way. There are a number of places along the island where there is no viable highway alternative except for the railway that runs alongside. And for whatever reason, for whatever lobby group, whatever, you know, industrial, corporate lobbyist that's hiding in some Ministry of Transportation office somewhere, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why the province of British Columbia and the country of Canada can't get its act together and actually use a railway like the rest of the, you know, modern world does. But we seem to have given it over to corporate interests, and if those corporate interests aren't interested in the railway, then the government isn't either. So that's what has to change. The transportation problems aren't going to go away. It's not magic. We have to move people. There's a bus. Hey, look. Buses are great until the highways fill up. Literally maybe 2 kilometers from where I just videoed, just past the First Nations Snaw-Naw-As Reserve, we are now in a giant backup. So, are we going to fix this? And if we fix it, are we going to try to build another highway somewhere? The railway, by the way, is just in those trees. That portion is not being ripped up. It's not on the reserve. It's literally right there. I could walk on it faster than I am currently driving. So are we going to fix this problem? Are we going to admit that there is something else we can do on land to move each other than this ridiculous mode of transportation that we're all relying on? The answer is yes, we can use the railway, rebuild the highway, and reroute the railway so that both are on the same footprint. This is not rocket science. You can connect the two up again instead of being stuck in traffic for now, the past 50 years, and the next 50 years to come. Thank you.